what it can possibly happen. We don't know if it is confirmed yet or not. We actually don't know. So there's a lot of topics that we are going to touch. One of them is the new possible candidate. We don't know if he's going to go for candidate or not. I just heard his video and he did not say if he wanted to be a candidate for president of Mexico, but he sounds like he can be the next candidate for president of Mexico, and that will be what an option. That will be a great option, and I will sit down and relate to you guys on that topic. Also, we are going to talk about the 80. We have a lot of programs that they're going on locals, so I don't want to be all over the place and take that advantage of the people that they are in locals. So if you guys want to really get into the topics that I am really touching on a daily day basis, go to our platform at Locals, sign on in Locals, become a member at locals.com, and you guys can be there. Share this video, like this video, share this video. Not too long ago, as you see behind right here, not too long ago, let me move the microphone right here for a little bit. This man right here, that's Ben Berquam right there. That's Eduardo Verástegui right there. And that's myself. That's Oscar Blue right here. Picture at CPAC, Mexico. If you guys saw a guitar, yeah, that's my guitar. It is a Fender guitar that I use sometimes and that I practice and I play sometimes. So Eduardo Verástegui has been known. He's a former actor. He started being a conservative. As you guys remember this guy's face, I interviewed him in CPAC Mexico. He started the movement at CPAC Mexico, really big at CPAC Mexico. Also, one of the people that he is really involved with it is Tim Ballard. Also now Jim Caviezel, the actor. I don't know if I spelled it correctly, and also Mel Gibson. All of them, they are, full Christian and, conservatives, that they're fighting the evil and demonic woke ideology and agenda. So basically, I met Eduardo Verástegui on the past CPAC Mexico, the first CPAC Mexico. I met him, I shook his hand. And the first thing that I asked him when I had him one-on-one right here, and I basically, I shook his hand and I said, you know what, Eduardo, I need to talk to you and I need to ask you about the unaccompanied minors that are coming into the country. I want to talk about the unaccompanied minors. And he was really emphatic when I started throwing numbers, because when you start throwing numbers and they start noticing that the topic. So he looked at me and he said, this is a problem of open borders. This is a problem of the left. This is a problem of open border ideologies. This is the narrative of the left, that they create poverty in their own countries and they create a chaos and people get out instead of creating better routes and better sources of work. And ultimately, not only that, hold on, people, they're sending me messages all over the place and I'm trying to get my bearings right here. Not trying to. Okay. So when they're trying to, when I was asking this question, I was really off track right there. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. So when they're trying to, he was explaining to me how the unaccompanied minors, why they're coming and why there's a lot of child trafficking. And also before, and thank you so much for my producer for this message. Eduardo Verástegui, it is the producer of Sounds of Freedom, movie that is coming out on July 4th in the U.S. and in Mexico in September. It is a story of Tim Ballard on how they saved children from being trafficked. This is why Tim Ballard, it came down to CPAC Mexico. We met him over there, and I was with Ben Berquam, and I said, Ben, that is Tim Ballard over there. And Ben is like, yeah. And I said, no, that's Tim Ballard, man. We got to go and talk to him for a little bit. That the man's story, it is so phenomenal. The man is just a complete genius. And we started talking to Tim Ballard, and I started explaining also to Tim Ballard, these are the things, this is how independent media is so important, because we touch certain things that the mainstream media does not want to say. I was just recently in some award show for the documentary, and they told me that they needed to cut and some edit some parts of my documentary that I talk about the NGOs, and that I talk about the UN and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to cut nothing from my documentary, because that is falsifying information. We're going to continue to spread the truth. So we met Tim Ballard, and also when we were talking to Tim Ballard, I told Mr. Ballard, I said, sir, did you know the NGOs are aiding and abetting fake marriages and the borders, and they're creating this, and that, and they're doing this? And he was like in shock. He's like, no. And I said, yes, we got the evidence. Here you go. Also, we talked to Eduardo Verástegui, and we told him about the how trafficking of children, it is occurring also ultimately in the caravans and in these mass migrations, how they are using this as a front and as a smoke screen. The vulnerabilities of people, a lot of vulnerable people that they're migrating in necessity, a lot of vulnerable people that they're migrating to a good cause. And you got the vandals, and you got the criminals and the traffickers that they're using this excuse as a smokescreen to traffic people. So we talked to these two great individuals, Eduardo Verástegui, who is a really famous actor in our country of Mexico. Glad to meet him, glad to shake his hand. Also had a really long talk with Tim Ballard. But the most amazing thing that happened today is that Eduardo Verástegui today gave out a speech. And he came out in this speech as saying that he didn't say it, but he's defending the values of Mexico. Like he is possibly going to be a runner-up for the 2024 presidential elections. Now, let me tell you something. If that happens, and he knows, let me do something. This is his hat. His movement is called Movimiento Mexico. This is Eduardo Verástegüi's, basically his movement. And he started this movement, this hat. I bought this hat in CPAC, Mexico. I bought it for, and the most unbelievable thing about this is that, let me put the volume up right here, a little bit on this microphone. The most unbelievable thing about it is that you look up to some people when you are in journalism. And hold on, this thing right here. Oh my God. Okay. You look up to some people, and now you get to understand what they're standing for and what they are trying to stand for in our country of Mexico. And it is basically, the guy has become, I don't know if it is the correct word, celibato, that is celibate. I don't know if it is the correct translation. He changes he changes his whole perspective of life. He was in a really bad position. Eduardo Verástegui talking about him. He was really famous. He let fame go into his head. And this was when he was young. And then completely one day he changed. And he changed for the better. He changed for, basically he changed to change the perspective on his life. And he became really close to God. And he became really close to the values of family values. And after he decided to leave acting, he started being a complete in devotion to the Catholic Church, to the real values of Catholic Church. And not only that, also an activist for pro-life, for, for the country, for the values, for he's extremely conservative. He became extremely conservative. And on this communication statement today that he released, I will read it for you guys, what he said. And it says right here, El Imparcial, that is a really famous news outlet. It says, let's build a dream together. It says, Eduardo Verástegui then asks us a question. It says, Eduardo Verástegui possibly on hold to be a candidate for 2024. And then it says, on a video, he described that he wants to dream for Mexico different. And he wants to end the migration from Mexico to the United States. Doesn't he sound like somebody in El Salvador? And you can only bear to imagine who is going to attack this man. You already know who is going to attack this man, because somebody in El Salvador by the name of Nayib Bukele, somebody in El Salvador said, and he's the current president, Nayib Bukele. He said this: I will provide a better place for my people in El Salvador, a better place for them to stay, a better place for them to survive, a better place for them to work, a better place for them to look up to the next day. And I don't know if you guys remember, but we went to El Salvador, and we have a documentary coming out of El Salvador of how Nayib Bukele has changed that country. And ultimately, now that we went over there and we saw how the community, how the citizens of El Salvador, how they love their president, but the only ones that they're attacking Nayib Bukele, it is the United Nations, the OIM, ACNUR, the leftist organizations, the NGOs, and the congressional people in the United States, that they're saying that he's a dictator. And we ask multiple people that if they consider Nayib Bukele a dictator in their country, they say, who said that? They're crazy. Now we can walk outside at 9, 10 o'clock at night. Now we have freedom to go outside without being assaulted by the MS gangs. Nayib Bukele said, before our people were migrating to the United States, now our people are staying. And not only that, it is proof. Not only that, it is proof, but also Nayib Bukele, it is bringing their people back from El Salvador, from the United States to El Salvador, to basically invest in their country. It is a reality. Whoever does not believe it, I will suggest to you to pick up a plane ticket, just for all you leftist progressives, all you pancakes and snowflakes, pick up a ticket and fly from, and you got the privilege. You got the American privilege, of course. United Airlines and Delta Airlines, they fly all the way directly to El Salvador. Oh, my God, first class ticket. So get that first class ticket all the way to San Salvador. When you get there, the first cab driver that you hopped into, ask the cab driver, how do you feel so oppressed by this imperialistic dictator president right now? Ask him. That's the first thing that I did when I got to El Salvador. I asked the cab driver, hey, so they say that Nayib Bukele is a dictator. He looked at me and he's like, what the hell are you talking about? No, hell no. It's a good president. Nayib Bukele said, I'm going to stop the migration of my people to the United States and from them to suffering. Look what this man is trying to do. This man is saying that he wants to stop the Mexican people from, not stop them, but try to not leave their country. They're leaving. They're suffering. Our people are leaving our country of Mexico because our corruption, insecurity, the here. It froze. My God, this is beginning to be so annoying. So annoying. Every time. And I don't know if it is the internet or if it is the platform or if it is just Facebook and YouTube by itself. It's just so freaking annoying. Go back to the point. So, as I was telling you, this is one of the most important things right now. If he wants to control the migration from Mexicans to go to the United States, the most amazing thing about it is that he's going to make Mexico great. You know, one of the things that I will tell you that happened was my brother right here, Ben Berquam, right here on the back. When we were at CPAC, he got in front of everybody. There was a huge pile of press, huge pile of people, huge pile. And he's like, I need to ask a question, Oscar. I need to ask a question. And I said, go ahead and ask it. Don't give a damn. Just raise your voice, man. You're 6'4", man. The hell out of here. I'm 5'8", and on a good day, I'm 5'9". Like, get out there, man. You're tall as hell. And he's like, Eduardo, in front of everybody, Ben Berquan. And all the press looked, and he's like, yes, sir, for America. It's not only about making America great, but is it about making Mexico great? And he said, yes. Because we don't want to make only America great. We want to make Mexico great. Let's make everything great. That's what Eduardo said. After he responded that, he started getting labeled by, guess who? All the liberals, all the leftists. And they had a little protest outside of the building of the West End, and they were protesting, and they were saying that it was the imperialistic right, and there was this, and there was that. The most phenomenal thing about that is that if we get this opportunity, if he intends to run for president, it will be the youngest candidate, a fresh candidate, conservative candidate, loving for his country candidate, love for his people candidate, kind of like I have a dream, like Martin Luther King kind of candidate, and also to bring back the hopes to Mexico. Save the children, save the family, bring back God's values. It is almost like a copy paste of what Nayib Bukele is doing to his country. It's just a copy paste of what Nayib Bukele is doing to his country. It's just a copy paste. This is the best solution. And I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to. And some libtard in Mexico City, because they try to set me up. They had this, this, and I'm not going to make fun of him, but they have this overweight punk that I told him in the stairs. I told him, you better behave or I'll whoop your ass. I'm sorry. I had to say it. I said it. I looked at him and I said, you better behave because you're in Mexico now. You're not in the United States. I'll whoop your ass over here. So they set me up. They sent a lady journalist later on when I was at CPAC. Look what she asked me, because these libtards, these leftists, they think that they're really smart. Oh my God, I'm so smart. So they sent me this lady journalist, and she started asking all these questions like, "Oh, so how do you, how many, so how many companies do you work for?" So like, excuse me, who you are? Oh, I don't know. I don't remember her name. Then she asked the key question, and this was the key question. This was the key question when she asked, "Do you think that Eduardo Verástegui it is the next Trump of Mexico?" And I said to her, "Can you stop bringing your politics into my country? This is Mexico. This is not the United States. And if you don't like it, you can leave. Don't bring your political trash into our country." Immediately, they try to destroy the image of a man that is trying to do good for a country. And if, let me tell you something, Eduardo Verástegui has been fighting against child trafficking, has been fighting against uh, child smuggling, and not only that, one of the most important things is that he is surrounded by so many good people, and that is the thing that has given him a lot of support. The things that it has given him a lot of support. Let me see if I can get. Let me see if I can do this, man, because I was having problems with this platform, and I'm getting a little pissed off sometimes when I do not get the things that I want to do exactly the way that I want to do. This is a picture, and I'm gonna put it in the middle. This is a picture right here. This is a picture of me, Ben and I, and Tim Ballard. Ben, Tim Ballard, and myself. These are the kind of people that Eduardo Verástegui is surrounded by right now. Tim Ballard, it is a great man. He is a great man. A great, great man. Where do I remove this? Right here. And because of him, possibly the article, let me read the article before I start moving on to other significant topics. Because this is, he's going to get attacked now. Like you guys don't even imagine. Eduardo Verástegui is going to get attacked like Nayib Bukele is going to get attacked, and they're going to signalize them as an imperialistic right wing, as that he is in a platform with Steve Bannon, as all these leftists. They're going to say, "Oh, he's a white supremacist. He is the white supremacy of Mexico. He is a white imperialist. He's for the American imperialism. He's a xenophobic, transphobic, homophobic, pronounphobic, fatphobic, fascist, racist, narcissist, bigot." All that you can imagine, all tied in one. They're going to signalize him as that. There's not going to be no other. On his video, he said, they want to destroy the Institute of Family. They want. And he's referencing to who? To the left, of course. He's referencing to the left. And he says they want to destroy the Institute of Family and to finish with the values and to pervert our children. That's what they want to do. And then they look at an image where the chief of government or the governor of Mexico, it is promoting the drag queen show on Children's Day. So he got really upset when on the 31st of April, I think it's the 30th or 31st of April. I don't know how many days. Let me check. before I start getting fact check or before they start clipping me and they're like, oh my god, he doesn't even know how many days are in April. On the 30th of April. All right, 30th May, April, May. Where are you? 30th. On the 30th of April. Hold on, I'm getting a message over here. On the 30th of April, they were promoting, the governor of Mexico was promoting drag queen shows for children. The 30th of April, it is a celebration for the day of the child, the day of the kid, El Día de los Niños. And the governor of Mexico, the city of Mexico, the governor of the city of Mexico, she was promoting drag queen shows. And it is not a fake news. It is a reality. Let me put it right here so you guys can understand what I'm referencing to. This is what she was promoting. It says drag queen festival for the day of the kids. A spectacle, a show that they're going to tell us stories of drag to the youth with the finality to fomentar, I don't know, to emphasize on a message, on a positive a message of equal treatment and inclusion for todos, for all. But get to know, instead of saying all, they added an X, like Latin X. So you will not have todos. It's not, it's like a they, them. Now they're trying to use their pronouns. Damn, man, this woke ideology, man. Oh my God, it already trickled over here. So they're already messing with our language, right? So that's what they try to do. That's what Eduardo Verástegui got so triggered by that. And he started saying, you know what? We're not going to allow this. This is too much. It's already over here. And I remember listening to Tim Ballard at CPAC. He had a beautiful explanation. A beautiful explanation on how the whole situation of woke ideology, how it was going to go little by little into our lives, little by little. How it was going to be addressed little by little into our lives. As a matter of fact, there's a video right here. And before I move on, more of Eduardo Verástegui, before I move on with that, let me tell you something. When we went to El Salvador, I interviewed the Minister of Security, and the last thing that I told him, the Minister of Security of El Salvador, I told him, I wish that we had a Nayib Bukele in our country. One day we will have him. And possibly, I don't know if Eduardo has that also other fire in him, that is the fire of law and order like Nayib Bukele has. He has the fire of ending child trafficking and the migration of Mexicans into other countries and the suffering of poverty. He has that soft side of his heart, but ultimately he needs to have that strong side, because he's going to face pure evil in our country. He's going to face the cartel. He's going to face these criminals, these horrible terrorists that they are terrorizing our people. And you need to be strong on those kind of things. You don't need to be comprehensive with those people, because you're going to be like AMLO, all hugs, no bullets. That's what is going to happen. So this is what happened when they try to do this drag queen show. This was a drag queen guy that is basically saying to the governor of Mexico, not the governor, to some reporter, Lili Tellez, who she was saying she's a right-wing reporter, that she was saying drag queens, they do disgusting stuff and all this kind of stuff. This guy got completely mad and he went viral by going on this video.
contra las dragas, no somos pederastas, no estamos enfermas.
We the dragas. It is not we the drags. It's the dragas, right? We the dragas. We are not pedophiles, and we are not sick. That's what this man dressed as a woman is saying.
No hay nada que curar, señora Lili Telles.
There's nothing to cure on us, Miss Lili Telles. Lili Telles is a political candidate, journalist also. That she is basically now, that she was saying that these people are clinically sick.
Yo le vine a dejar una carta para que nos sentáramos a hacer un debate de qué es las drag queen. No somos pederastas.
I just came over here to just give out a letter to her to let her know that the drag queens, we are not pedophiles.
Y no estamos enfermas.
And we are not sick.
Diputadas federales, las senadoras ya lo dijeron.
The federal legislators and the federal state legislators and also Senate that has said that we are not sick.
No hay nada que curar. Señora Lili Telles, usted es una ignorante.
There's nothing to cure, Ms. Lili Telles. You're a complete ignorant woman. This is what, basically you guys are seeing exactly the same thing in the United States, but it's also little by little, it is coming over here to our country of Mexico. We are so happy that we are still in the school, that we don't have to use pronouns in our schools with the teachers. And as soon as they do, I will be really happy to record and expose that. But we are so happy that we don't have that going on right now. So that is one of the things that that basically I wanted to show. Now, in terms to how it is transforming into those bad things right now, into the situation where you have a candidate that is possibly going to be a great piece of savior into our country of Mexico if he runs, because he didn't say that he was going to run. He made it look like he was possibly going to run, but he did not say that like he was going to run. But he made it look like he was going to run. Let's see where he's going to fit, if he's going to run, and what political and which political party it is he going to run. And if he runs, let's see what his stands are going to be. We already know that he's pro-life, he's pro-law and order, and he is, he's all about border security and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is that let's see what his stand on is with the cartel and the organized crime. That ultimately, if he's surrounded by the people that I think that he's going to be surrounded by, he's going to have a really strong decision to make on combating these terrorists that we are having in our country. When we were there in El Salvador, just a copy paste of what this possibly Eduardo Verástegui can do to our country of Mexico, we interviewed the Minister of Security. And, one of the things that is going to happen with Eduardo Verástegui, it is going to be this. The globalist organizations are going to attack him. As Nayib Bukele, as the former president of the United States, as every political figure in the right-wing stature, they're going to get attacked by these globalist organizations because you expose them, because you say, hey, what are you doing with your money? If you're earning so much, if you're earning trillions, if you're earning billions, what are you doing with your money? How are you helping children? How are you helping the people that are the most vulnerable? One of the questions that I asked the Minister of Security, and this is the posture that basically a lot of these people have on the terms of how they are going to get attacked by globalist organizations. This is the Minister of Security of El Salvador. When I interviewed him, what did he said about the United Nations? Look at the question that I asked, and I will translate as soon as I put the video on screen. Clip number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and as I was having a conversation with him, this is the Minister of Security of El Salvador. His name is Villatoro. And I said, when your people used to be oppressed, when your people used to be basically ripped apart by the MS gang, the globalist organizations were here and they were not doing anything about it. And now they are attacking the president. Do you think that that is unfair now that he's doing good things about your country?
Ahora aparece para poder comprometer al presidente de una manera, pues, me hace
And then I asked this question. Lastly, I say, where were they, these people, man? Where were all these people? And then he responds this.
Ellos siempre estuvieron acá.
I think that they always have been here.
Lo que pasa que lo que estamos haciendo en materia de seguridad, lo que
But the thing is that what we are doing in terms to security
está comandando el presidente Nayib Bukele
and the things that Nayib Bukele, the president, is leading us to,
los obligó a quitarse la máscara.
he obligated these global organizations to take their mask off
Y a develarle al mundo lo que son.
and to reveal to the world what they are. What global organizations? The UN, ACNUR, OIM, all these global organizations. Look what he says about them.
Son adoradores de criminales.
They're lovers of criminals.
Ellos se llenan sus bolsillos
They fill their pockets with money, these global organizations,
en mantener nuestros países con ríos
they fill their pockets with money to maintain our countries with rivers of blood and violence.
de sangre. Imagínate que acá, criticando el movimiento de asesinos seriales.
Imagine over here in our country, these global organizations, they're criticizing the movement of us attacking and detaining, as serial killers. They were criticizing us,
Terroristas
terrorists,
al secot.
into the most biggest prison that we have, that is the center of confinement. All these killers that we were putting them over there, these globalist organizations, they were criticizing us.
Y en Honduras y en Guatemala, financiando las
And in Honduras and in Guatemala, they were financing
portadas de la cantidad de homicidios al día.
And in Honduras and Guatemala, they were financing the front pages of the newspaper of how many homicides they were occurring continuously on those countries,
Y cómo los gobiernos son
and how the governments are incompetent to handle their people,
incapaces para resolver
and how the governments are incapable to resolve
y dar seguridad.
and to provide security. So what he's saying is basically these globalist organizations, they're criticizing us how we're handling over here these serial killers and criminals. But over here in Honduras and in Guatemala, what they're doing is that basically they are promoting and they're financing the front page of the newspapers and criticizing the governments that they're not doing anything about it.
Y acá, llorando
Y over here, we are crying.
por los derechos de esos asesinos
And over here in our country, these global organizations, they're crying for the human rights of these murderers,
seriales.
these serial
Molesta
killers.
que les hablemos con firmeza.
They get mad. They get pissed off that we talk to them with affirmative action.
Les molesta que les diga que no vamos a gastar un centavo
They get mad and they get upset that we tell them we're not going to spend one penny.
de dólar en rehabilitar a ese tipo de
They get pissed off and they get mad. Man, I love this guy. They get pissed off and they get mad that we tell them we're not going to spend one penny on rehabilitating one of these individuals that they took away the peace of our citizens.
criminales. Lo que nos vamos a garantizar
What we are going to guarantee
como gobierno y como Estado
as government, as a state,
es que los que van al secot
the people that they go to the center of confinement, the biggest prison for terrorism in the continent,
no regresen nunca a las calles.
that these criminals are never going to go back again to the streets
de nuestro país.
of our country.
No vamos a heredarle este
We are not going to let the future generations,
problema ni en 20
not even in 20 years to this problem, we're not going to let it to the future generations, not even in 20 years,
ni en 25, ni
not only in 25, not only in 30 or 40
años
years.
a ninguna otra
We don't want this problem to ever exist in our country again.
generación de salvadoreños.
We don't want this problem to exist again in
Más
our
de
country.
40,000 pandilleros que van a ir al secot
More than 40,000 gang members have gone into this prison.
no van a regresar
They will never come back, all these gang members,
nunca
ever.
a ningún pedazo de suelo patrio
They will never step again into one foot into our country.
que no sea el secot hasta
That is not the Secot, the center of confinement,
el último día de sus vidas
until the last day of their lives.
van a permanecer ahí.
Until the last day of their lives, they're going to stay there. Now you know why these people get attacked. Now you know why these kind of individuals, that they are for their land, for their people, for their country, for law and order, for God. Now you know why they get attacked. Now imagine if Eduardo Verástegui it is going to be running for president. Somebody needs to tell him that he is going to get attacked massively. And it is going to be all over the place. But I will tell you something. One of my favorite people in this planet, it is this man next to Nayib Bukele. This man is the one that holds the pants in El Salvador. The Minister of Security of El Salvador. Also, Oriel Ortega in Panama, the Chief Director of Senafront. Also, Juan Manuel Pino, the main director of the Minister of Security of Panama. Those are strong men. Strong men. We need good leaders. That's what we need. You want to end a crisis in a country, mass migration, mass poverty, transformation of genders, losing the identity, attack of religion, attack of God's values, attack of family values, destruction of the whole family integration, destruction of the educational system. You want to attack those kind of situations, you need strong men. These are the men that we need to support. These are strong men. This is not a joke. These are strong men that they're willing to go out there and put themselves on the limb in the security of their selves in its way for the people. Now, I met Eduardo Verástegui. He is really surrounded by really good people. You know, he has a movie coming out, Sounds of Freedom, and all this kind of stuff that is extremely well for against child trafficking. But a lot has to do with what is he going to do with plans of security if he intends to run. As the message was put out, we don't know if he is going to or not. But if he is, in terms to security, he needs one of these. At the end of the interview, I tell him, joking, Mr. Villatoro, I got to tell you something. When are you going to just swing by Mexico for just a couple of weeks just to clean the country? And he just laughed and he just said, Oscar, it's going to come. Don't worry about it. It's going to come. I also asked him another question. I said, Mr. Villatoro, how do you think that this model of you attacking the organized crime can trickle into Central America, South America? And he said, it's not going to be the government. He said, the government is not going to do anything about it. It is the people who are going to demand the government to do something like Bukele is doing. And I said, this man. It is not the government who is going to do something for the people. It is the people that are going to go and demand the government to do something for their people. And I'm like, hijo de la chinga. When he starts talking to you, when these kind of men, they start talking to you, they give you hope. They give you hope that there's possibly, at the end of the day, at the end of that tunnel, that we are, we've been almost 6 years on this broadcasting, and I'm going on 6 on this 5, I think it's 5 years. Yes. 5 years going on 6. Broadcasting and reporting of the borders and the illegalities and all the atrocities that occur at the border, the abuse towards migrants, the abuse towards women, the abuse towards children. And when you are, let's say, like what we saw in the Darien Gap, at a complete assault, and we were at a crossfire, and we were seeing how these vandals were taken down by men, by real men. These men that they put themselves on the line, these soldiers from Centrefront, from the authorities of Panama, these were men. These were not men with pronouns. These were not men that they were identified as she, he, them. Or they didn't know if that moment they were going to be a man or a female or a non-binary or a geezer or whatever, Caesar or whatever. I don't know. These were men that they were risking their lives to save other people. As this, you need good men. That's what we need. Good leaders. As I have said this before, you have bad leaders. You have bad, incompetent leaders. You will have an incompetent government. When you have an incompetent government, you will have crisis. When you have crisis in your countries, you will have chaos. If you will have chaos, you will have multiple destructions. And I'm not creating hysteria like all these leftist pamphlets. Oh my God, this guy's such a fearmonger, man. Oh my God. This guy is such a fearmonger. I cannot stand his white supremacy. Get the hell out of here with that. Grow a pair. It is a reality. If you have incompetent leaders, you will have a country that is not going to progress. Look what El Salvador did. How in the hell that happened? In 5 years, he completely changed the country. Imagine if we had a good leader like Verástegui, or if we had a good leader in similitude, similar as to Nayib Bukele in our country of Mexico. Oh my God, Mexico can be. If Mexico is not doing that bad right now, imagine how can, mamacita linda. Viva Mexico, cabrón. We will be on top. We will be on top, first class. Get the organized crime out. Get the cartel out. Fight these criminals. Get them in prison. Make them suffer for what they have done to our society, to our educational system, to our kids, to our people, to our women. If we had one of these, no bowing down. Oh my God, yes, master. No, this is Mexico. You respect it. Imagine if the United States is going through right now a horrible process also. What's happening right now to the United States? I'm sorry. The United States has an incompetent president. A president that doesn't even know where to stand. A president that falls on his face. He falls out of a bike. He falls going up on a plane at a stairway, coming down on a stairway. He walks into the park where nobody is wandering around, and he wanders to nowhere land. And then he comes back and he's like, how's everybody doing? Like nobody knows what the hell this guy. Oh my God. Nobody knows where and this guy is at. He's lost. He's done for the rest of the day. Incompetent leader. Bad leaders lead to bad governments. Bad governments lead to bad decisions. Bad decisions lead to bad policies. Bad policies, they lead you to bad crisis. Bad crisis causes insecurities. Insecurities causes people to not be comfortable, not be happy, not be fluent. Economy, inflation, all of it. It has to do with who you put on the top. You put a good person at the top. You got a person that holds the pants down and that he's a real leader. You will not have this kind of problems. Got a problem? Do you have a problem in El Salvador with insecurity? Nobody wants to commit a crime right now in El Salvador. I will tell you that. Do you know what happened last time in El Salvador when their scattered gang members scattered and they're hiding? Out of the 40,000 that they already arrested, there's still a little bit there, here and there. One of them got away, a few of them got away, and they assassinated a police officer. You know what Nayib Bukele said? He came out on public and said they're going to pay. They are going to pay. They found those criminals in less than 48 hours. They put them in front of the whole country, kneeling down in front of the authorities, and this man speaking behind and saying, these are the criminals. They are going to pay the rest of their lives for this murder. You don't want to commit a murder. You don't want to commit a crime in El Salvador right now, man. You don't want to go over there and commit a crime. I'm going to tell you that. You got one guy like this, one bad boy like this, that is not, he looks so gentle. Oh, my God. We were laughing our whole time, and I got a picture of him. I will post that picture later on Facebook for you guys to see how gentle he looks. We were laughing and having fun, but at the end of the day, you don't want to mess with this guy, man. You don't want to commit a crime in El Salvador right now. How easy it is to commit a crime right now in Mexico. How easy it is to commit a crime in the United States. How easy it is to go into a Walmart and just loot and riot and come out and say, oh, it's my reparations. Oh, my God, I feel oppressed. Oh, my God, I'm not my pronouns. Oh, my God, I identified as a chopping cart, so I had to put all the clothes in the chopping cart. Or what is happening to Mexico is it me or do I have to say it? This is so easy. It's the level of respect that you send to the population and to your countrymen. The level of respect and the message that you're sending. The message that you're sending as a good leader, it is that you will not tolerate these kind of crimes in your country. Biden is tolerating everything. You don't give a rat's ass. He really does not care. He does not care. Whatever happens in Minnesota, whatever happens in St. Louis, whatever happens in Baltimore, whatever happens in LA, whatever happens in San Francisco, whatever happens in Portland, that they're giving away syringes and they're making people more addict instead of saving them, they're making them more addict. He don't care. Good leaders lead to good solutions. I wanted to also put something on the screen. And this is because there's been, before I end, we got like around 5 to 6 minutes. Let me see if I can put it on the screen right now. So there was a post right now that there was a possible war. Oh my God. that there was a possible war in the borders right now between Mexico and the United States, and that the United States was going to go into Mexico and invade Mexico, and that this was. Let me see if I can. This is the video. Yeah, but let me just put it right. Let me put myself right here. So this is the video. So somebody posted this video on their TikTok. And they said that this was the U.S. military going into Mexico to invade Mexico because they were going to take out the cartel. So this is how fake news goes out. And this is how all these people that just put all these kind of posts just to create, just to get likes and just to get, viral or just to catch attention. Right? So they posted this video. And they said that this was the American military, and that they were going to go in and they were going to basically invade Mexico. Also, it follows by a post. I think if I'm not mistaken, if I'm doing it correctly, let me see. It's the same thing. So let me see if I can provide the other post that it was put out, also exactly followed by that. Also, they said that the Mexican military was going to get ready, and it was getting ready for the war. And they posted this video of in relation to what it was happening at the border. Look how this fake news and how you create all these ideas. This is if you see on the top, and if you see the translation, it says "Esperando el grito de guerra." This is a translation for the Independence Day. El grito de guerra, it is when we sing our national anthem, Mexicanos al grito de guerra. Mexicans to the chant of war. That is one of our paragraphs in our national anthem. And this is a parade that was possibly going to be done possibly in the 16th of September, or it was going to be done later on. But it has nothing to do with some fake news going around and saying that, oh my God, there is a war at the borders, that they were going to, in the United States, that was going to invade Mexico. And it follows by these kind of fake news. This is all kind of fake news. So if you're watching right now, and if you thought that this was part of some news that you were like, oh my God, yeah, Mexico's, oh my God, yeah, it's happening. Let me see if I have something else right here. I believe that is it. Let me see if that is it. So just for everybody to understand. All right, just for everybody to get it. It's fake news. Whoever is spreading it, stop, man. Stop. You're actually hurting instead of helping, or not even hurting and helping. You're just being an idiot, really, because that is really something that you don't play around with. You're saying that the United States is about to invade Mexico, and they're going to war because of the cartel. And you're putting pieces and pieces of the puzzle right here, this video and that video, and let me pick this video, let me cut and edit, and let me. It's kind of situations that I believe that you guys need to be really careful and aware about. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. God bless you guys. God's plan is our mission. Thank you for all your support. We have been off for a little bit. we are going to be we're going to be traveling soon. You guys know when I say that, it is because it's coming. But first, we got to get our bearings together. I got to fix a couple of things first. I like to invite everybody to join us at locals.com. There it is where I have all my reports. It's where I'm putting all my reports and all the breaking news reports. So if you guys want to go and become a supporter and become a member over there, if you guys want to go over there and support me, that is where the platform that I'm located at. It's called locals.com. Locals.com. Go over there, locals.com, Oscar El Blue. You can follow me over there, subscribe, become a member, and you can help me continue with my traveling. We are going to be traveling soon. As you guys know, when I say that I'm traveling is because I'm traveling. So I really, I always come through with what I say. So thank you so much for your endless support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have to say also that locals, let me just put this message on right here. Locals as Oscar El Blue Ramirez. Right there. You got it. If you guys can go to locals and become and this is actually a thing that I told my manager. This is actually a thing that I told my manager, and you're not far away from what we were talking about because we were talking about this fake news, and manager was telling me, oh, this fake news is going on, check this out. And I started checking it out, and I'm like, hey man, there's a distraction. And you're right, LB Stanish, you're right about it. There's a distraction because of an investigation that is going on. That is practically why they're trying to make all these fake news and all these distractions for people to be just all over the place. Thank you so much, Jana. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for the coffees. Buy me a coffee is on the bottom link. If you guys like to support my platform and my work and my travel fund, buy me a coffee is on the bottom link. It is much appreciated as we are independent reporters. And for us to continue, your support is much needed. So thank you so much for joining into the platform. You can follow my platforms at every platform: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Getter, Locals, and for people that they are being kind of not butthurt, but they're asking me, Oscar, why don't you do TikTok in English? I decided that my TikTok was going to be only for Spanish-speaking audience. All my other platforms, the platforms that I started with, are all in the majority English. So I think that the Spanish-speaking audience deserved a platform that it was specifically for them, and I got a platform that I can actually talk to the Spanish-speaking Latino audience. And and that is where I talk to the majority of the people of the situations that are going on in the immigration situation. Sometimes I talk politics. Sometimes I talk the gender situation. It's really important that we start speaking in Spanish. Really important that we start speaking in Spanish. Somebody's saying right here, real quick, I'll put attention to your comments. I don't trust TikTok. Who do you trust? Do you trust Facebook? They're continuously blocking you and censoring you. Do you trust YouTube? Do you trust Instagram? Do you trust all of them? They're same. If they're going to censor you, they're going to censor you in whatever place. It is not only just because it is. It's not only because it is just China. It is. A lot of people have been shadow banned on Facebook, have been shadow banned on Instagram, have been shadow banned on all platforms. So if they're going to take you out, they're going to take you out. They're going to remove you. They're not going to be like, oh, let me pick and choose, right? This one I like it. The other one I don't. God bless you. Thank you so much for joining in. I will talk to you guys later on during the week. We are going to call it a night for today. And thank you for all your support. I will end the live feed right now. God bless you all. Stay safe. And remember, God's plan is our mission. Stay safe.